welcome back to the show. You're watching WCOBM.TV, and I am your host, Linda Leak, Lady Linda, whatever you're more comfortable with, whatever you want to call me. Just make sure you call me, all right? And we've got with us my cousin, Cuttin. Cuttin Reed. You're not from Chicago, though. You're from the East Coast.
Lady Leak.
Welcome to the show. It is a pleasure to have you on. As you well know, we're saluting the veterans and making sure that each and every month we are offering opportunities and different programs and just getting the word out to everybody, even as it relates to medical. Dr. Odell, shout out to you, and thank you so much for all that you do for the veterans, for the neuropathy program that you have, and just everything. So, tell us a little bit about yourself. As a veteran, you were in the Air Force, correct?
Correct.
All right.
1968 through 1972.
All right. Wow. That's a long time.
Yeah, a long time ago, too. So.
I like the way you said that really fast. In 1968 to 1976.
Can't forget that.
So, what did you like best about the Air Force?
Put it like that. There was a war going on. There was nothing to like.
Wow. Oh, that was a heck of an answer.
I went into the Air Force to keep from being drafted into the Army or the Marines.
Oh.
So I tried to take the easy way out.
You know, I remember that a long time ago. So you were drafted in the Army.
There was a draft, and we had a choice: volunteering for the Air Force or the Navy, or being drafted into the Army or Marines, or volunteering. So I chose to stay out of Vietnam, and I went into the Air Force, and they put me in rescue helicopters, and guess where all the helicopters were? Vietnam. So I went anyway.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
So.
That must have been some experience.
Oh.
To put it mildly, I'm sure. All I can say is this: the reason why my heart is so touched, besides the fact that both my parents served in the military, when I first moved to California, which was I remember walking down the street and stepping over a soldier laying in the street, sleeping in the doorway. And coming from Chicago, it's too cold for many people to sleep in the street. So that's the first thing. I don't have any recall of seeing homeless people in the streets coming from Chicago. I know that exists, but you don't see that. And when I relocated to California and you began to see everybody out on the streets, and when I saw that one gentleman on the street, I just decided that at that point in time that I would never, ever, ever go forward in life without doing something about that man sleeping in the street.
Appreciate it.
So here we are, and I just want to congratulate you and honor you, even though it's been years and years and years.
Just one in a million.
Years and years and years.
Just one in a million.
But that you represent, you being that one in a million, represents so many who have passed away, who have been like that person on the street with no place to live. So.
Well, I am a survivor, yes.
That's right.
So I chose to move on, and when I got out, I went to, we were...
Everybody wants to talk to us right now.
That might be the point of stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
She's so excited.
So so there's going to be so many people who are watching this, who know that they have a place to come to. Mm-hmm. If they don't have a place to live, they have a place to come to if they don't have food. But we don't want to be ordinary. We want to be extraordinary. So this just isn't about food and clothing and housing. This is about actually offering opportunities with getting businesses started, you know. So not just actually bringing the horse to the water and making them drink, but you know, let's offer up opportunities so nobody's sleeping in the streets anymore. So with that being said, you own a record store. So you came out of the service. Tell us about how you got your record store going.
Okay. Well, while we were there in Vietnam, I did a year in Thailand, and then they sent me to Vietnam. I spent 6 months there, and then they shipped me home. While we were in Vietnam, we put together a little ragtag group of guys called
Ragtag?
Yeah, called the Joneses, because we weren't organized. We just came together. I don't remember how we came together or how I met the other guys, but there was another guy who flew over to the Philippines and brought back instruments for us, and we formed a group, and we played around the different bases, the Army bases. We went outside of our base to other bases to play, and we also went up against the Air Force Band, the Army Band, and all the other organized bands for the Best of Vietnam Band contest, and we won because we played our R&B music, and we played the top soul tunes at the time.
Okay.
And the Army Band and Air Force Band came on playing all their orchestra music, and I guess the judges liked our flavor. So after that, I went back to Boston. In the meantime, there was, we had our educational grant, and all of that. So I went to Berklee College of Music for a minute.
Wow, okay.
Just a minute. Because the guys who were there played 5 instruments better than I played my one. So I said, I'm out of here. And then I started just hanging around the club called the Sugar Shack.
All right.
And I used to sit in with groups there. And the last group I sat in was with the Bobby Blue Bland. I played trumpet in the horn section.
Oh, that was
for 2
honor.
nights.
Wow.
And then that was a highlight of my illustrious career. And then the next night my daughter was born, April 14th, 1975. So I had to get a real job.
Okay.
So the real job consisted of helping out with a guy that had a record store in the Dorchester community of Boston. And I decided I needed to concentrate on jazz music and gospel, and I did a little...
All the genres. Gospel?
Well, actually, he did the R&B.
Oh, okay.
And I just did the gospel and jazz, supposedly.
All right.
And then when he went out of business, and I inherited everything.
Okay.
So that was how I started a business, just by
the love
the
of
back
the
door.
music?
Well, I was always a collector anyway.
Okay.
So I said collector. The next step is retail. Then Can of Worms opened up.
Well, that is a story all by itself. And so what we're going to do, thank you for coming on board with us today, first of all. And you're going to co-host with us, so thanks for being on here all day. We are going to take a quick break and get the Pointer Sisters on because they're waiting for us. And speaking of music, I think it's a good time now, a good tie-in, because after they leave, I want to bring on some of the pictures of you and your days at the record store and some of the wonderful entertainers that you worked with and some of the awards that you won.
Thank you.
And all of that good stuff. So everybody, you're watching Variety Talk live from Las Vegas. I am your host, Linda Leak, and we're sitting in with the wonderful Jimmy Reed, one of our veterans, and we'll be back in a minute.